You're not late, but something wants you to believe you are. You don't just feel behind, you feel measured, not by someone you chose, not by a rule you agreed to, but by something that seems to already exist quietly. You scroll. Someone your age just bought a house. Someone younger just got promoted. Someone else is announcing an engagement, a move, a milestone. And nothing dramatic happens, but something shifts. A small tightening, a quick calculation, a silent comparison you didn't consciously decide to make. By the end of the day, you're not just living your life. You're checking where you stand, against numbers, against timelines, against invisible expectations that no one ever officially explained. And somehow, even when nothing is objectively wrong, feels like you're already late. Most people think that feeling comes from ambition, but it doesn't start there. It starts much earlier, in something far less visible. This isn't about weakness. It's not about laziness. And it's not because you're unmotivated. It's also not about burnout, or balance, or productivity. The pressure you feel isn't a personal flaw. It doesn't mean you're behind because you failed somewhere. Most people experience this quietly. That sense that time is moving faster for everyone else. That others are hitting milestones you somehow missed. That there's a schedule unfolding, and you're slightly out of sync with it. But this isn't a moral issue. You're not broken. You're not irresponsible. You're not late because you made the wrong choices. The tension comes from something more subtle. From absorbing a structure you didn't consciously agree to. From measuring yourself against markers that were never fully explained, only implied. And once those markers are internalized, they start to feel like truth. Not because they are, but because they're everywhere. You notice it in small ways. You open social media for a minute, and suddenly your chest feels tight. Someone your age just bought a house. Someone just got engaged. Someone just announced a promotion. You don't even know them that well, but your body reacts. You scroll a little slower. You compare timelines without meaning to. Later, someone asks what you're working on, and you answer carefully, as if your words need to justify your position. You calculate your age more often than you used to. You translate numbers into expectations. 30 means something. 35 means something else. You replay conversations in your head. You measure progress in silence. You feel slightly behind even on ordinary days. Nothing dramatic happens, but there's a low-grade urgency underneath everything. A quiet pressure to accelerate. And most of the time, you can't even say exactly who is rushing you. What's happening isn't random. You're not just comparing. You're participating in something that was built long before you noticed it. This invisible timeline isn't a personal invention. It's a structure, a symbolic ladder that tells you when things should happen, how fast progress should look, what counts as on time. And once that structure gets internalized, it doesn't need to be enforced from the outside anymore. You start measuring yourself automatically. Age turns into a checkpoint. Milestones turn into proof. Delay turns into failure. Not because you consciously believe that, but because the system trained you to read life that way. Comparison becomes a survival strategy. If you can locate where you stand, you can adjust, accelerate, correct course. The pressure feels personal, but it's structural. And that's why it doesn't go away. Just because you try to think more positively, you're not racing people. You're racing a timeline that was never visible to begin with. The strange part is that no one explicitly sat you down and said, there is a timeline you must follow. It was absorbed through school years, through job titles, through engagement announcements, through the quiet panic of turning a certain age. The message was subtle. There is a pace. There is a sequence. There is a correct order. And if you fall behind it, something must be wrong. But that timeline doesn't exist in nature. It exists in culture. It exists in comparison. It exists in systems that need measurable progress to feel stable. So we learn to read life like a scoreboard. Not because we're shallow, not because we lack depth, but because the world rewards visible advancement. And the algorithm amplifies it. You don't see ordinary days. You see milestones, launches, promotions, announcements, and slowly, without deciding to, you start measuring yourself against highlights. And here's the quiet shift most people miss. When progress becomes the only visible proof of worth, rest feels suspicious, pauses feel dangerous, and being exactly where you are starts to feel like falling behind, even when nothing is actually collapsing. Maybe the pressure you feel isn't proof that you're behind. Maybe it's proof that you internalized a scale that was never designed for you. Because once you start looking closely, something becomes strange. Who decided the order? Who decided the pace? Who decided that certain milestones mean on time and others mean late? And more importantly, who benefits from you believing that? The invisible timeline only works if you never question it. Few assume it's neutral. Few assume it's universal. Few assume it's natural. But it isn't neutral. It isn't universal. And it definitely isn't natural. It's constructed. And constructed things can feel real, even when they aren't. So maybe nothing is wrong with your rhythm. Maybe nothing is broken in your sequence. Maybe what feels like falling behind is simply stepping outside a script you didn't consciously agree to. And once you notice that, the pressure doesn't disappear, but it shifts, because you're no longer competing with everyone else. You're noticing the ruler itself. And when the ruler becomes visible, it stops being invisible power. It becomes a question. And questions don't measure you. They unsettle what was measuring you.